Digital First Podcast.
Shaping the future of informatics education in primary and secondary schools.
Welcome to the fourth episode of Digital First Podcast, where we explore the intersection of technology, education, and the next generation. The Digital First project is on a mission to reshape the future of informatics education in primary and secondary schools across Europe to match the needs of today's children born in a digital world. With 15 partners, we are set to develop and test innovative pedagogical approaches for informatics education in 11 European countries over the coming months. In our podcast series, we are hosting teachers, parents, policymakers, and experts on education and technology who are at the forefront of this educational transformation and try to answer together an essential question. What kind of informatics education should we envision for today's kids, the digital natives? Our goal is to understand how we can bridge the gap between traditional education and digital world, preparing young minds to not just consume technology, but to innovate and lead in the digital age. So, whether you are a teacher, a parent, a student, or just someone passionate about the future of education and technology, stay tuned as we embark on this journey to make digital tech the first language for our digital natives. We are your hosts, Dimitria, Terzieva, and Nadya, Stankova, English teachers in secondary school St. Cyril and Methodius in Smolensk, Bulgaria, and also school coordinators for the Digital First project. We are thrilled to have you with us in this exciting conversation today. We are delighted to have with us today Stanislav Djurov to share his incredible insights on the importance of teaching and learning computer science as a student of computer science in Technical University of Plovdiv and also currently a trainee in an IT company. And it is a pleasure to host also Stela Yaneva, Kecheva, and Sefani Apostolova, who are students in secondary school St. Cyril and Methodius, to share their unique perspective as students who are interested in this field. Hello Stanislav, Stella, Maria and Stephanie, and welcome to the Digital First podcast. Nadya, let's start the discussion.
Dear Stella, Steffi, Maria and Stani, thank you for being with us today. Your opinion and insight are truly valuable and help us move forward in our mission to reshape informatics education. Let's start with our first question. Why is essential teaching and learning computer science in today's digital world, and how does it go beyond just learning how to use computers? Stella?
I think that in today's day of development of technology and knowing the pros of it, it's crucial to know how to use it in our favor. Compared to before, unfortunately, younger generations like me are most affected by it at a young age. The good thing about it is that people are most adaptable in their first few years of living. So introducing technology early can help us process the way the world works faster and easier. So in order to help us catch up with the world, we need to have people who can teach us how to use the technology in this digital world properly. Even though without some of technology's perks, we would be nowhere as developed species as we are now if it wasn't for it. In my opinion, integrating computer science is a crucial part of our brain development as well as polishing our adaptiveness.
Yes, it's really interesting. Stini, what do you think about this question, please?
So, since me and my classmates at university study informatics a little bit more deeply, I think it's first crucial to mention how and what does informatics actually hold. So, firstly, in the most basic term, it is what's inside an electronic device, how it functions and why it functions like that. It gives you a basic understanding of how most computers work essentially. So now that we have the idea of what informatics is, I think it's time to say that what it studies. So let's imagine a computer inside, shall we? Most people would not think, or who don't have any theoretical or practical experience might be able to imagine just a big board with a bunch of chips on it and a couple of paths on it that are made out of copper. So what are those chips? And why are they there, and what do they do for us? Well, sometimes what people imagine can be a little simpler. Since it's not exactly a science and it doesn't necessarily study specifics, it is a complex of different sciences. So it studies both hardware and software part, and what is inside each part we will see now. So in hardware parts, the most important parts of a von Neumann, from a von Neumann architecture of the computer is there is a central processing unit which is dedicated to altering the information in the memory, inserting a new memory, a new piece of information into the memory, and overall processing the information that is given. There is also a main memory that is made out of, it includes RAM, which is short for random access memory, and ROM, which is short for read-only memory. So what's inside those memories? In random access memory, the most important parts are held there. It is the information that we need right now at the moment, processed, and it's what is closest to the processing unit. So what's in read-only memory then? Read-only memory is a memory that holds the computer information, the whole program of how the computer works. And there's one part that is not very well known, which is input and output devices. This is a part of the computer and part of the motherboard mostly that is there to, by third-party devices, get information in and out, which helps us visualize what is going on in the computer and give it instructions to how it should work. So now that we have that out of our minds, I'd like to talk a little bit about how software works. So software is arguably just as important for how computer works as a hardware, and probably arguably even more important, because what's in the hardware doesn't mean it will work. What software makes is it gives the ability of those parts to work together. And what essentially software is software. It's the computer program. It's instructions for how the computer should work, and those are usually not very readable to the to the person that is trying to read them. So that's why it has to be translated. the computer code, the machine code, is basically a binary register that holds a lot of information about the computer, its specific details, and what to do with that.
Yes, in our digital world. So interesting. Teaching and learning computer science is really essential today. Also, it is good to hear how we can use technology today. It's not only at school, also at university, at our real life. Next question is specific skills or mindset the children gain from learning computer science early, and how do these prepare them for the future, both in and outside of tech careers? Stella, it is interesting to hear your opinion about this question, please.
Well, I have some controversial thoughts about this topic, since I think that relying on technology too much can lead to losing our creativity. I also think that it certainly develops our critical thinking. For example, a crisis when solving a mathematical equation forces us to find a way to solve it, right? So our brain is working a million miles per second to find a solution to the problem. And sometimes we have different possibilities which help our creativity that we may have numbed while using technology in an unhealthy way. So critical thinking will definitely help us out in a crisis situation where an untrained brain may think there is no way out. So studying such sciences, I think, helps us improve our critical thinking, plus understanding of ourselves, which will, for instance, help us find a job in a suitable field, because different departments of computer science teach us how to compare, and we could really use that when we're comparing different job opportunities based on our abilities and skills and overall what we're searching for.
Stella, do you think that students can get this kind of skills today at school, please?
Well, yes, if they only paid more attention in class, because there are many people who just brush it to the side and neglect IT lessons, for example, but they just haven't realized yet how important it is to have knowledge about this departure of life with the speed of technology's development. It's crucial to know how to use it, and any AI tools, for example. So we can get our knowledge if only we search for it.
Yeah, okay. Steny, your opinion about this topic, please, about this question, about specific skills or mindset?
So let's look at it from the from the more technical part. So to be skillful in a manner gives you the ability to solve problems outside of computers. It lets you, as my colleague said, it lets you get more critical thinking into most of the problems. You can start solving problems more efficiently. And also the tech savvy people can and should be able to repair their own devices. That way they save valuable resources that help the planet conserve planet resources, which are important in not just making those devices. We also need those resources for other things. And by being able to repair our own devices, it gives us the ability to lower the waste footprint on the planet, and also learning computer sciences in a more deep manner. You have to be able to understand how how different things in the computer are created to be able to work in that sphere.
Okay, thank you, Stani. I think it's really important to get skills that so necessary today in this digital world, and students can get them early in primary, secondary school, of course, after that at university. But finally, let's share valuable insight on the third question, dear guest. The third question is, do you think that the computer science knowledge you learn at school is enough for your future?
Well, while the knowledge we get at school certainly provides a stable start, judging what I've been taught by now, it is not nearly enough. In my opinion, we could use some more preparation, especially people who will pursue a life with a daily usage of technology, be it for work or simply being forced to use it in order not to fall behind in this world. This year in my IT classes, we have prioritized making websites, which could be pretty helpful if one of us, the people from my class and anyone who studies things like that, it could really help us if we want to create a site and maybe our own brand someday and sell goods to people who are interested. Another controversial thought that I have is that AI is a little bit overrated and overhyped, if you wish. It's basically a program which gives you faster results, which are based on what it had found on websites that have been previously made by the human hand. It simply saves time. And not to mention, with its current overuse, with people getting their degrees using it, we are not only putting ourselves in danger by trusting people who have no real knowledge about important things, we are also making our brain, in a way, unable to think and process information. Using the commands like, can you make this answer shorter or simpler? We also numb our vocabulary, if you wish. Schools should focus on promoting the usage of AI without asking us to use it for everything, because balance is a key and overusing it may lead to some really bad consequences in the future.
Thank you, Steli. Steni, what do you think about computer science knowledge you learned at school, at university? Is it enough for future?
Wow, I would like to go opposing to my classmate over here, because I think it's nearly not enough of how many classes you get at school. You don't learn nearly as you don't need certain things that you learn at school. However, the important parts of IT that we have to study are usually not mentioned in our books, and I think that there should be more classes and not just classes, practical lessons in school. I think there should be not only more classes in certain term, I think there should be more classes overall in different class groups or different age groups, if you will. And I believe that the last 5 years of school should be a little bit more oriented towards digital science, because that's where the world's going right now. And we should try to have to deal with it in some way.
Thank you, Stani. Your opinion is exciting, but now it's time to hear Maria and Steffi. Okay, let's start with Maria.
I think that knowledge that we learn in school is not enough for our future, because we need more IT lessons and artificial intelligence lessons at school now, because we need to learn about AI and how to use these tools safely, because these days everyone uses them. Also, we need to get more practice with modern devices. And I also believe that learning more about computers at early age will help children develop logical thinking, and they will learn to solve problems easily, both in their personal life and with technology also. And I think computers can help to advance communication, and they can also improve creativity or even learning other languages easier. And when children are taught about computers and how to work with them and how to use them to make their life easier, this can help with developing to the future. And when they use digital tools, they improve digital skills that can help them later in life when they're involved in a project. So I think it's really helping for many skills to develop.
Thank you, Maria. And finally, let's hear Steffi's opinion.
Well, I think children can learn a lot from computers. Kids learn to break problems into small, manageable parts. And these children will have a better future when they know how to use properly computers, and will increase their choice of career. They also become more creative and learn also how to use our brains for good and make new friends. We do learn a lot about computers at school, but what you learn in school can become outdated quickly. New programming languages and tools emerge all the time.
Thank you, Steffi. Your opinion is really interesting.
Yes, I agree that your thoughts you shared with us today are important for us as teachers. So, let's take a moment to reflect on the highlights of today's conversation. It is so valuable for us and for the whole Digital First project to hear the different points of view from two different profiles: teenage students and a university student and a trainee, IT trainee. A standout points from our discussion with Stanislav, Stela, Maria and Stefani is that they all agree that teaching and learning computer science is very important for the requirements of today's digital world. What really catches our thoughts is that all of our guests today consider that the computer science knowledge they receive at school is insufficient to prepare them for the digital world after graduation. It is an important statement to think about and what can be done at national and international levels to change this situation. Dear Stanislav, Stella, Maria and Stefani, we are grateful for your presence today. Your experience and insights will absolutely help us to move forward in our mission to reshape the informatics education. And dear listeners, thank you for joining us on the Digital First podcast episode. Stay tuned for more conversations that are shaping the future of informatics education. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter on our website and follow our project at Digital First Network in LinkedIn, Instagram and Facebook to hear about our upcoming podcasts, videos and webinars. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning and keep innovating.
Digital First Podcast.
Shaping the future of informatics education in primary and secondary schools.